this day just keeps getting more and more awesome, doesn't it? Well, right on, boys and girls. Now I got my wife's laptop, and I'm back to the original position because I think the lighting was better. Gonna pull these wheels off. I swear. It's the struggle is real, my friends. We'll pull these wheels off and get this party started. Gonna be doing front pads and rotors on this. Gonna be fixing some brake work on that. These tires are about shot. These are snow tires. We left them on this summer because there ain't no need to take them off. They were just getting ready for the trash anyway. But let me go ahead and do that. Who's brave enough to join me again? Looks like absolutely nobody. Maybe you can chime in and let me know if the quality is actually working this go around. I don't think I would have stuck around. Been about straight up fed up by this point. All right. Pull these tires off. Rust. Hey, somebody's commenting. Maybe this time it actually works. Let's see what we got here. Dusty Bottoms, Harbor Freight Death Trap. How dare you? How dare you? This is the finest lift, automotive lifts ever created by man or machine. And I am insulted by your awesomeness. By the way, do you recognize the outfit for day 400, my friend? I am literally so bored with my life right now that I am filming just me randomly working on cars because I'm pretty much going to be working on cars all day. So join the party, my friend, and good to see you in here. Hope the family's doing well. John Goebel, keep the channel alive, man. Yeah, I know, right? Like I can't seem to keep anything working today. Third computer I've tried. Either internet connections, camera, I don't know, man. But whatever. Anyway, enjoy it, guys. If you have questions, I can't see the screen as well as I could over there, but I'll be popping back and forth. And yeah, Rust. In Rust we trust. I think I'm going to start in the rear, which, yeah, you can kind of see. Maybe you can't see. But I got to put some little metal pieces in. That won't take hardly a second. Then I'll move to doing front pads and rotors, clean up the caliper, so on and so forth. So this is my Saturday. It's so relaxing, so much fun. And it's amazing that, you know, no one told me when I was going to become an adult that literally meant I was going to be doing stuff endlessly, but there was no such thing as a weekend. And guess what? There's no such thing as a weekend. Looks like we got somebody else popping in here. Who's there? Dusty Bottom saying shop is looking a lot better than when I came out. Yeah, boy, I'll tell you what, it is. It's like Man Cave 10.0, brother. I got toolboxes on top of toolboxes. I got everything organized. I added some Can't see it here, but like above this, there's shelves here now. There's all kinds of shelves over there. It's so cool. It's like, it is a dream, man. Totally a dream. And it's just so nice to have it. It's not a day that goes by that I'm not appreciative of what I have in this world. And I think that's an important thing for people to keeping track of in their own lives, because too many times we're so busy looking at everybody else's stuff and being like, man, I wish I could, X, Y, or Z here. But really, honestly, being happy is what it's all about. If you're happy, it's awesome. And finding your own way in this world is also pretty darn awesome, isn't it? So anyway, it's going to take just a second to put these clips on. Where are those clips? I have a second. No, it disappeared. Why? Where are they? You gotta be kidding me. What's the best story you have? The best story I have. Man. I don't know. See, there's a problem with that question, my friend. What's the best story I have that I'm allowed to say or tell on YouTube? You know what I mean? There they are. What's the best story I've got that I can tell on YouTube? That's the kicker. That is the real kicker. Let me think about that before I get banned forever. Hey, look at that. I actually got the right parts finally. I'll make sure we get that all right. There's one. Best story I've got. Oof. Put me on the spot. I can usually just ramble endlessly, as Dusty Bottoms is all too aware. Got a lot of Army stories. A lot of those things involve a lot of drinking, so I'd rather probably not talk about that kind of stuff. Just because there might be younger folk that pay attention to this and don't want to set a wrong impression, you know what I mean? But everybody does stupid stuff when they're young. I need my glasses. Old people need glasses. Where are my glasses? Old people can't ever find their glasses when they need them either. Where's my breakers? There it is. All right, let's see here. Mine is rebuilt in a 1986 Firebird. Right on, dude. Hey, see you, Dallas. It looks like try number 640 might actually work, but by this point, of course, everyone has honestly given up. I don't blame them. It's just been too much of a struggle. Dusty Bottoms saying it. Oh yeah. Hey, Doug, how's it going, man? Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll turn the camera just slightly the other way. There we go. Now you can get all 4 brakes as I work on these. So awesome. Okay. So anyway, I'm just putting some shims in here for the rear brakes. The company, when I bought the brakes, they forgot to ship those out, and they're kind of important. So I got them to send me some. Now I'm just putting that back together. A little bit of brake grease. If you watch, I actually think I made a video when I installed these the first go around. But this car, she's getting old, man. She's had a good life, but she's nearing the end of her serviceable life, as they used to say at the shop. Just the rust is terrible. It's not cancer like frame rust that kills you that way, but it's rust that just gets you by causing every component to fail repeatedly. And that just really adds up. It just keeps costing money until you just kind of run out of effort. You just get tired of doing it. You just get tired of spending that money. And finally, it wins pretty much is what it comes down to. So let's see what we got. Yeah, man. So it looks like we only have 2 people in here, which is sad, but that's cool. I'm glad you're here. As far as like best car work stories, man, I don't know how many of y'all follow the channel or how long you follow the channel, but I restored a Yugo a couple years ago and was able to drive that around for a while. That was actually a whole lot of fun, and I really enjoyed that. I mean, I think you could probably buy a Lamborghini and not get the same amount of attention that I got rolling through town with a simple old car like that, and that's pretty cool. That you can build stuff on a budget. and make some pretty nice stuff out of it. And then the only bad news to that was the guy that I sold it to, man, he hated that car. He thought that I had screwed him over big time. And, you know, it was like, dude, you realize you bought a Yugo, that even if I restore it, the day that it leaves my garage, the problems start coming up again. And not just that, but, you know, it was like a 30-something-year-old or 35-year-old Yugo. So I don't know what he was expecting. But I daily drove it for a couple months, and I managed to not die. So I don't know what he was expecting, but it was unfortunate. So, gosh, look at that. 10 whole minutes, and we haven't even had a dropout yet. This is a miracle. All right, you might not see me or hear me quite as well because I'm going to the other side, but feel free to continue to comment, and I'll try to continue to answer. Whew. I don't know, what's the weather like wherever you guys are? This morning it was pouring rain, then it was cool and cloudy. Now it's hot and sunny, which is actually making it kind of muggy. But I got the door over here on open behind me, so that's helping somewhat. Get a little breeze through here. If I wasn't trying to do this live show thing, I would I'd turn on a fan, but I think it would make it even harder for y'all to hear me if I did that. So I'll hold off on that. So what's everybody do for a living? I know what Dusty Bottoms does, but how about the rest of you guys? There we go. All right. I got a funny car story, actually. And I've seen this happen multiple times. I've had this happen multiple times. Who here has done a brake job and forgot to pump the brakes before putting the car in reverse? I certainly have. That is one of those things that definitely gets the old blood pressure going, doesn't it? Your heart stops and then beats a little bit more rapidly until you're able to successfully stop or until you hit something. Luckily, every time I've done so far, I have managed to stop before hitting something. But I know as the years go on and I get more and more scatterbrained, eventually I am going to hit something. So let's hope that don't happen today. Because outside, if I back into it, I'm going to hit my little rabbit truck. I might just cry right here live on the internet. Which is okay. I've cried before. I've cried again. I've had enough of this shit. All right, let's tighten these two down. Then we'll move to the front. Let's see. Oh, got some comments in here. I'll be over there. I'll read those comments just a sec. Let's see what we got. Warm and muggy in Richmond, Virginia, huh? Yeah. I lived in Raleigh for many years, so I know all about warm and muggy. I'm going to sit down here for a second. Getting old sucks, by the way. Well, it looks like the internet feed actually is working, which is a miracle. And it figured, like I said, it'd be just in time that people were just like, you know what, I give up. I'm not doing this no more. I don't blame you, boys and girls. I don't blame you. Okay, so got that figured out. Let's move on to the fronts. Now, I had to replace this caliper over the winter. And at that time, you know, the rotors were rusty, but salvageable. But what's happening, and hopefully I doubt you can see that, but major lips here, so it's just grinding and scraping, and it just sucks. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I believe it's 17. Go ahead and pull that off there. Oh yeah, the back. Wait till you see the backside. I'll get the backside of this rotor close to the screen so you can see just how bad things were. And again, it's a real shame, but you know, that's living up here in mountains does. This same vehicle down in a place like Richmond, unless you're sitting right on the beach there. Actually, got some rust in there too. I'll have to clean that up. So that was sort of sticky. Definitely not good. All right. So next thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to remove this caliper bracket so I can get these rotors off. So I think. Can't remember if that's a 17, 18, or 19. 17, I think. That's a 17. Yeah, all right. All right, let me get my gun here and pull this off. These brake jobs, they don't take a whole lot of time, even if you're doing something, you know, rusty. But save you a fortune if you're going to have to pay somebody to do it in town. Take that off. I'm gonna clean that up too, because I mean, you know, there's rust there. I want all that gone if I can, so I'm gonna get that out of there. But you can see, rust-wise, like, you know, I put that on in what, January, December, something like that. You'll have to go back through the videos, and it's already trash. Luckily, this set that I bought, I got a kit off Amazon. It was like pads, rotors. And for all of it together, it was hardly anything. It was far less than $100 with shipping, you know. So figure that out. But that's kind of nice. So I'll hang on to the parts, and I'll use those get my scrap metal. What's the most commonly used tool in the shop, huh? Right there, sledgehammer. Because if it won't come off the way it was intended to, it'll come off when you beat it off. There we go. You can just hear that rust falling all over the floor here. Yeah, check that out. Gosh, I hope that shows up. Yeah, you can kind of see it. It's a disaster. It looks like brake contact was just like little teeny weeny piece. The rest of it just rusted out garbage. So that's what it's like being here, man. That's what it's like working on cars up here. Good news is you make a ton of money as a tech, because every car that comes through the door pretty much needs brakes. And not just pads. Very, very rare to do just a pad swap here in the mountains. Back where I was in Raleigh, working at a dealership, most of the cars being under warranty, if they did need brake work, it was usually just a pad swap. But up here, you can make a bunch. All right, give me a second off screen here. I'm just going to open up this brake box, get my parts out. This is, of course, where I find out that I got the wrong parts. And the car is stuck here for 2 weeks. That's okay. There's our brake pads. I ain't hearing a lot of chatter. Seems like 5 people, a couple thumbs up. Appreciate y'all stopping by at Farpoint Farms. This is literally an automotive live feed. I am working on cars all day. This is it. This is practice makes perfect. I do love sharing my skill set with other people. And I hope you're one of the people that appreciates it and maybe learn something from it. Because it'll save you a ton of money. Straight up a ton of money. All right, let's open these up and keep our fingers crossed here. I believe. Oh, let's see. It might be just. Let's see. Oh my gosh. It's actually the right parts. You know, if you ever bought anything off of Amazon or eBay, you save a ton of money, but it doesn't always mean you're going to get what you want on the first try. So I'm going to step outside here and use some brake clean the grease off of that. I'll be right back. Feel free to ask questions or just talk to me about anything. It certainly does not have to be about cars. We can talk about life. All right, got that one cleaned up. Nice shiny new rotors. Oh yeah. Now some guys out there, they'll clean these hub faces. And maybe if there was like substantial, really nasty rust, would you want to take a wire brush to it? And it might not show up well on camera, but there ain't nothing going on here that's worrisome at all. So I'll just slap those back on there. Okay. Sometimes these things will have like a set bolts, but this one does not have that. So, all right, let's see here. I'm going to start putting this thing back together. This job ain't going to be that long. We'll have this car out here just a little while. There, I'm going to do brakes. All right, next thing I'm going to do here, I have really done a number cleaning these off. So I'm not going to take this over to the wire wheel. I'm just going to wire brush these, clean that up that way. You'll notice that this kit did not come with these. That's a sign of, you know, a cheap kit, but I can save those. These are stainless, so I'm just going to polish all that up. Man, I'm going to sit down while I do it. So, what are people who live in townhouses doing today? I don't mean that as a bad thing. I'm kind of envious of, there are definitely times in the last few weeks have been some of those times where I envy apartment life, or, you know, this, where you just literally, you know, if something goes wrong, you just call the landlord or whatnot, or a townhouse, condo, that kind of stuff, where you know, you still got your own place, no doubt about it. But if problems happen, well, you know, you don't even have to stop watching TV, man. You just make a phone call or text somebody, and the next thing you know, the problems are all solved. That's pretty good. So one of these things is a little bit sticky, and I want to clean that. So what I'm going to do next here, I'm going to walk outside again with that brake clean. I'm going to wash that out, put fresh brake grease in there. Oh, look. Keep on logging on. Yeah, I'll keep on keeping on. Yeah. So I actually think we figured it out. This is the third computer I've used, and it's working. So good. I'm glad. Unfortunately, by this point, you know, I got 9 people. That's cool. So like a lot of people just gave up because, I mean, who wants to watch jittery mess? But you know, at least now we got this thing sort of solved. So like I said, I'm gonna go clean this thing off, and I'll be right back. We'll put some fresh brake grease in there. We'll put this thing back together. Not going to be a tough job. Of course, on the other side, you won't see me, but at least you'll be able to hear me. Yeah. Okay. So we got that side cleaned up. Put the boot back in there. Put some goo back in there. And we'll get this thing back together pretty quick, honestly. This is fairly straightforward. Now, the other side, the caliper, that caliper, I think, has only been replaced once on an 04. So that thing's probably got a whole lot more rust than this side does. And it might be that caliper's locked up. It might be, I don't know what. There might be a whole bunch of problems going on here. So I don't know what's going to happen, but that'll be part of the adventure. If I was filming this as a regular episode, I would I'd pause the camera and move to the other side, but unfortunately, this is live feed, so that ain't happening. We're just gonna you'll have to imagine the things that I'm doing. I will describe them in such great detail to you that you will, in fact, feel like you are, in fact, there. How's that sound? 10 of you guys watching a random old dude do brakes on his car, do services on other people's cars. Man, awesome. I'm so excited that you're a part of it today. Where did my braking first? There you go. All right, there are like a lot of different ways to compress caliper pucks. I actually have the tool, so I'm going to use it, but certainly you do not have to have something like this to do a brake job. Yeah, but it sure is nice, you know. So let's squeeze those things back. Here we go. Nice. So that makes it real simple. Checking for leaks. I don't see any. I'm going to wipe that one pin down a little bit here. Then I'm going to grease everything up really nicely. Put that back together. So I know I've asked this before, but people keep coming and going. How many of y'all do work on your own cars or do work for customers and help people out in town, that kind of stuff? I have about, I'd say 20 customers at this point that I work on their cars fairly regularly. And then, of course, in town, I work on a lot of cars. So in town, I might be working on all kinds of stuff. I try to stay away from super duty stuff, heavy duty vehicles. I'm old and it hurts to pull, LT tires, like 20-inch LT tires off of cars. That starts to get painful as you get older. And so I'm having to kind of watch out. I've hurt my back here more times than I can count over the years as a mechanic. And, every time I do it, it takes longer and longer to recover. So it's something that you just have to be real mindful of when you get to the back half of your career. I'm actually in the back quarter of my career, I would say. What we got here? Oh, we'll go ahead. Let's see. Patrick W. Yeah, they were pretty poor. Yeah. That's like, for you, how's it going, man? I need that lift so I don't got to crawl around. Boy, I tell you what. This is a Harbor Freight scissor lift. And I've made some videos on it. There's probably some other folks out there that got videos on these as well. But I'll tell you what, for old timers, man, I did the Yugo and I did a Super Beetle and I did a Corolla FX16. I restored all three of those using bottle jacks and jack stands and, crawling around on a creeper. And man, every time I started one of those projects, I thought, I wonder, I'd look at this thing, I'd look at two-post lifts. And the problem with the two-post is I didn't build this garage. So you got to wonder, is the concrete thick enough? And if it isn't, you get to find out what it's like to get crushed to death because the thing will tip over on you. And there's a lot of guys out there that are willing to take that risk, and I'm not one of them. So I did some more research. This thing, I think I hear this quite a bit in the comment section on this lift, that people are deathly afraid of it. They say it looks really unstable. It looks like it's going to kill you. In fact, my buddy Dustin there was just kidding around about how it's a death trap. But the truth is, this design has been around forever. This is just I would imagine it really does come from the same factory as the Ben Pack or Atlas. There's 100 names for these things, but they're safe. If they weren't safe, they'd have been pulled off the market. I mean, just look at what's going on with their regular jack stands right now. They're having some issues with those. And I think that shows that they're an upstanding company as far as, buying and building stuff that's not going to get you killed. So I have faith. I have faith. I did a lot. This lift, I think this lift, maybe not the exact same part number, but this lift's been on the market for them for an awfully long time. I mean, really, really long time. So again, like it's just, I'm of the opinion anyway that it's just safe. Well, it helps. I probably put, I mean, I'm not kidding, hundreds of cars on this thing right now. Well over 100 anyway. I know it was in a year. I was trying to keep track of it. It was probably 75 the first year, and now we're a month or two out from the second year. So really, really, really did pay for itself early on. Because some jobs it's darn near impossible with scissor jacks, or not scissor jack, but like a pair of jack stands. Man, this is no problem. I can pull a motor out of this thing. In fact, I can pull the motor and trans out of this car if I needed to. It clears the cradle clears, so to come right out of there if I needed to. All right, let's slide this puppy back in. There you go. I just want to make sure I'd gotten all that little. It was kind of sticking just a smidge there when I took it off, so I want to make sure that's not going to be a problem. And it looks like it's all set now. Put a little more lube. I'm going to wipe off this other pin outside of the camera's view. A little more lube there. Slide that thing right back in. I wonder if there's a way for me to edit the type. Oh, got the brake hoses twisted. Swap that around. That could be a problem. That's a problem we don't want to have. So there we go. That's better. Sometimes you get away with that. Other times you're going to rip that hose right out of the mooring. And that would lead to brake failure on the road. Probably at a sharp turn. That's not something I want to have to explain to a customer. So. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, man. Let's see who we got here. Who's here? Everyone's saying they need that lift. Scooter 55 says, have you had a full-size truck on it yet? I have had a Toyota T100, which used to be considered a full-size truck. But by today's standards, probably not so much. But I don't see a reason why you couldn't lift one with it. It's it's up to, I think, 6,600 pounds. So as long as, most trucks dry weight 5,000, 5,500. So you're still 1,000 pounds worth of okayness. And on the other hand, it's the only thing I say is I got some spacers for it, and I don't have them on here today, but you can put risers on. So if you have one that's lifted significantly, you put risers on there, helps you get that full height. If not, it still lifts it fine, but it may only come up, lower than this. It'd probably only be here because the body has such a lift to it. It takes a full foot of travel before it contacts the frame, if that makes sense to you there, bud. So I try, like I said, not to work on full-size trucks because I hate them. The T100 I find to be the perfect size vehicle. Actually prefer more compact trucks even than that, but you can't find a decent one anymore. They're all gone to the junkyard. They're all, all your Ford Rangers. And I'm not talking about the new one. I'm talking about the original Rangers. Getting hard to find a good one of those. I also really hate four-wheel drive vehicles, but living up here in the mountains, you pretty much got to own one, which I hate. I mean, I really do. I hate it. I don't like them. They get worse gas mileage. They don't handle as well. They're heavier. They're just not as useful for regular work, 99% of your work. But you can't survive winter with them, unfortunately. So they're kind of an ugly thing, but it's a necessity up here. And in Raleigh, when I was working in Raleigh for all those years, it was rare to see a four-wheeler. Most everything you worked on was two-wheel drive. But up here, it's the opposite. You might come across a two-wheel drive truck maybe once a year. Oh my gosh. Boy, this side's got some serious rust. I'll bring it closer to the camera when I get it off, but it's ugly. Very, very ugly. In fact, I'm going to try to compress. You can see me. I'm going to try to compress these pucks because it might be that this caliper is no good. Now, thankfully, excellent. Yeah, thankfully it did compress, so I'm going to go ahead and pull off the caliper bracket. Get that rotor off, probably put the new rotor on, and then take a little break. I'll talk to y'all for a second. Hopefully y'all can hear me somewhat okay. I know, I don't have a lapel mic on or anything, but hopefully you're able to hear me well enough that you're sticking around. So this is what Eric, the owner of Farpoint Farms, does. Okay. Working the farm, mowing the lawn, picking vegetables, fruits. Stuff like that. Let me beat the rust off this one, get this rotor out of here. That's on there. So people have been asking about this Harbor Freight, asking, how safe it is. And I did pretty well to sum it up. You're able to beat on it if you need to. And it doesn't feel like it's going to tip over. Good Lord, look at this. Probably absolutely. I'm talking to myself. I know I am. Oh my gosh, there's 15 people. Look at that. Gosh, I hope you guys can see that. Just a wee bit of rust there. Garbage. Absolutely garbage. And these rotors, I think they're 4 years old. Maybe got 30,000 miles. They're not even warped. They're just ruined, which sucks. But, it is what it is. Go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to take this rotor out of the box. We'll go wash the oil off of it, pop it on. I'll sit here with you for a few chat before I start reassembling that side. Yeah, this side's so seized up, the pads are kind of stuck in the bracket. Got to beat them out of there. So this side I did not clean. So when I get done sitting here, again, it didn't come with new ones of these, so I'm going to try to clean these up as best I can. But I'm going to take that over to the bench grinder for a few minutes and try to clean all that surface rust. And there's actually some pitting on that one, so it's pretty ugly. The good news is the pins weren't seized. And you can look at these brakes. They're only halfway worn, really, but they're ruined. See the rust on the back of that. I mean, I think these are a year and a half old. So for a customer, I would never have recommended just a pad swap, and now I'm finding out why. So I put pads on a year and a half ago, but because of the rust, it's ruined. I mean, I've wasted half those pads, and now I'm in it for pads and rotors again. So I should have just done it right the first time. Let's see what you got here. Scooter 55, been looking at getting one to work on your 55 Chevy. Yeah, dude, totally would work with that. Totally. 55 Chevy is probably smaller than the T100 and lighter too. I mean, trucks are just absurd. I don't understand what it is. It's like, well, I can't say it on YouTube, but I think guys are compensating for something, or I don't know what, but you need to get over it. I mean, everything's a quad cab. Everything's freaking, oversized this, oversized that, but they have a 3-foot bed on them. I don't get it. Your 55 probably has better storage capacity in the bed of that truck than a modern Dodge quad cab, which is just silly, man. Chris Bill saying, how much was that lift? I paid $1,400 with shipping, and it was like liftgate shipping. They had it delivered right into the back of my trailer, and then I brought it in here and unloaded it, which was quite an adventure. This sucker weighs a lot. I think it's about 850 pounds. I did get a 2-year extended warranty, and I think that cost like an extra $99. But I'm coming up real soon on running out of warranty. I got that warranty not because, Harbor Freight this, Harbor Freight that. I got it because there were some guys and gals out there who had bought these who said
that they arrive damaged from the freight company, and that can be a real issue because apparently Harbor Freight, even before the global catastrophe we're all going through right now, they didn't really stock parts for this at any of their stores, and so a lot of it was like back ordered. And again, it goes back to people talking about the quality of this, if it's safe, blah blah. It is because Harbor Freight's they're not actually producing this. They contract with companies to make these things, and so I guess the companies are busy churning them out as whole units, and they don't really supply them with a whole lot of spare parts or whatnot. So 19 people watching this. I can't believe it. Anybody got any questions? I'm going to sit here for another minute or two, and then I got to go over that grinder, so I won't really be in earshot. You won't hear me for a few, but let's talk, man. I know we're going to meet up again tonight at 6 o'clock, but this video, this is the 6th try, and it finally worked out. But I tried and tried and tried earlier today to do it. But, if you were there, or if you want to watch bits and pieces that were kind of chunky, I worked on a Honda Civic this morning, did a full service, tire rotation, brake check, suspension check, fluid check, oil change, and bulb check, all that stuff. And done with that one, pulled it out, pulled this one in, doing the same thing. I pulled all 4 wheels off, done some brake work on it, not doing an oil change on this one because this one, like I said, over the winter we did one and we don't put a lot of miles on it. It's going to need tires soon, so I'm not messing with those. We're actually going to put a new set of snow tires on it this year because unfortunately, as rusty and beat up as this is, you see me pouring money into it. It's because I just don't have the money to buy something to replace it. All-wheel drive cars up here go for a premium, and half of them go for a premium, and you get them up in the air, and they're just as trashed as this one is. So it's like, what's the point, man? I might as well stick with what I got. At least I know I'm trying to maintain it. So, yeah, I'm going to get through another winter. We're hoping to keep it actually about 3 more years. At that point, it'll probably be so far gone, it won't be worth fixing up anymore. Let's see. Scooters55 says, what's the safety features on the lift? So it has, in the middle, it's got these two, let's see if I can roll back. It's got these 2 cylinders here. I apologize for the blurry video. Obviously, if I was making a real video on this, you'd be able to see all the detail. But got 2 cylinders here, hydraulically operated. They move, there's lines that go across over there where the controls are by my toolbox, or one of my toolboxes. In the middle, there's a safety bar, a big metal latch, big hardened steel metal latch. And every time it goes up, you can hear it click, click, click. And that's going up to these safety mechanisms. It's very similar to a conventional 2 or 4-post lift. Pretty much all automotive lifts operate on the same principle. So it goes up, and if for some reason the hydraulic hose was to burst or fail or whatever, and this thing were to rapidly try to leave the sky, it would just move down to the next latch and lock into place there. So you wouldn't, you might lose an inch, but you wouldn't, the car wouldn't fall out of the sky. Technically you're supposed to lower it down onto those locks when working on it. I usually do. Sometimes I forget, but the same is true for all automotive lifts. You're supposed to raise them up and then put them down in the locks as an added safety feature. So it really is very much professional. And I know 2 shops in town, 2 actual automotive shops working full time for, regular commercial customers who use these things. The exact same brand, the exact same model. Better than that, both of them have these things set up permanently outside. So they're getting the wear and tear of weather. They're getting rained on, they're getting snowed on, they're getting sun beat out of them. And so, you look at those hydraulic seals and stuff like that, and you wonder, about the hydraulic hoses. Are they high quality or whatnot? And those things look so beat, but they're still working just fine. So I'd say that in itself is pretty cool. I mean, that's like, that's a sales pitch right there, I'd say. And I don't have any association with Harbor Freight. I'd love to. Harbor Freight, if you're listening, I will review any tool you would ever love to send me because I love your store. I wish you'd build one closer to me, but I love it. Let's see. Colin, how you doing? Colin McDonald, all the way from Scotland. Good to have you in here, man. 45 minutes I've been sitting here talking and working and doing stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, you're not going to be able to see. Well, maybe. Past over there in that corner there, I'm going to pull out my bench grinder, and I'm going to grind these things as clean as I can with the wire wheel. Same with that. I'm just clean them as good as I can. I'm going to put some safety glasses on because I like my eyeballs the way they are. And then it's ready to reassemble that side. So stand by. I'll be right back. So I doubt y'all can see this very well, but that's a whole lot cleaner than it was. There's still some serious pitting going on there in the front. But, I'm not going to take like the stone grinder to it. I'm only trying to wire brush to clean as much as I can off of there, but it looks a whole lot better than it did. Now I'm going to take some brake clean out those two right there, and then it's ready to start reassembling. It's pretty much how it works here. Well, let's see here. Oh boy, we've got some questions here. Scooter 55 saying, is that the highest it will go? Roughly, yeah. I've got it down on the lock, so it probably has about another 2 inches on that. But the thing to remember is, like, I'm right now when I'm staring at you here, I'm on a little roll chair, and it's absolutely perfect height for that. You put the thing all the way up in the air, you sit in the chair. I got a place to put all my tools on the little chair, and I've actually gotten to the point where I kind of like doing oil changes that way better than I like doing them on a full height lift. So I mean, it's really not as inconvenient as you would imagine. Obviously, it's perfect height for doing tire and brake and suspension work as it is. I mean, it's whoever thought it up, they picked that height for a good reason. It really comes out pretty well. So yeah, I doubt you'd be disappointed in that. Let's see. William Oswald, have you used the Icon tools? No, I have not. At this point in my career, I pretty much own all the tools that I would ever need. In fact, I've given away probably half of my tools here in the last 2 years because I'm winding down my career. So a lot of I had a full sets of 6-point and full sets of 12-point. Well, I decided to give the 12 points away to new techs, and I had impact guns that were older impact guns, and I may have replaced, and those guns were still working good. So I got rid of those and gave those away to techs. And extra, you'd buy a set of not wrenches, but plier sets, where you'd have 12 pliers in it. And eventually some of those things break, whatnot. So I ended up with all these random sets. So I gave a lot of that stuff away. So I haven't really needed to buy a new tool in quite some time. But if I do need to buy a new tool, a lot of that stuff does come from Harbor Freight, unless it's some kind of oddball specialty tool. Like, I'm doing ball joints on a 4-wheel drive, Chevrolet 3500, whatever, and it needs some kind of special adapter for the ball joints. Then I got to go to Snap-on or Matco and buy that stuff, which I don't like doing because that stuff's pricey. But that stuff that gets passed on to the customer, really. So yeah, but for like hand tools and hammers and screwdrivers and that kind of stuff, I don't really buy any of it. When I got into this business, Craftsman was the king of all sockets and stuff. So other than maybe a handful, I'm talking like maybe 10 or 12. I've got, for Torx and swivel and impact and non-impact, it's all Craftsman. So that's pretty much what I use. But I've never heard a bad thing. A lot of the guys I worked with have got Pittsburgh sets, and they're happy with that. As far as Icon, it's still pretty new, so I haven't seen a whole lot. And like I said, where we live, it's about I'd say about an hour in one way and about 45 minutes in the other to the nearest Harbor Freight. So I go there when I need stuff. But for guys trying to buy stuff, a lot of times they have Cobalt would be another brand that a lot of guys get because we do have a Lowe's in town. So yeah, man. But I got nothing against Icon at all. I think it's great that they're coming out with a professional line. Hey, Calcius, how you doing, man? Good to see you in here too. Maybe I put my glasses on. I don't know if I can read the screen that far. Now, hey, Jamaica Dog, I just made it back, man. Finished the yard work. Great, dude. So it's a miracle, but everything seems to be working, Jamaica Dog. So unlike the last 12 tries, or I guess it was 5 tries to get this thing right, but the internet seems to be working. The camera seems to be not too out of focus. This camera just always kind of sucks. Quadrajet, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you, man. I haven't talked with you in quite a while. Patrick W, hello, man. What vehicle are you working on? Thought it was a Suzuki SX4, but saw the sidewall. No, this is a 2004 Mitsubishi Outlander. We actually looked trying to find a Suzuki. I'd like to get one of those SX4s. Those are great little cars, good all-wheel drive, and they actually get decent mileage. So, yeah, I'd love to have one, but for right now, we have this old Outlander. It has served us well. Jamaican Dog saying, did you get the chat message about the Cuba Maduros before it shut down? I pushed send and the stream went down. No, sir, I'm sorry. I did not. I appreciate anything you guys say in these chat rooms, but we were having such. I'm amazed any of y'all are back. I mean, there's 21 of you on here right now, and I just can't believe it because the frustration level was on both sides. I got some pretty harsh comments about, your stream sucks. You know, and I'm not going to argue because the stream sucked, but it wasn't. I mean, I'm not a computer guru. I did the best I can. All right. So, but luckily for the last 52 minutes anyway, we've had great quality stream and some interesting conversation. Mr. Randy number one says, so are you a car mechanic too? You betcha, man. That's how I make a lot of my money. So I'm an ASC certified master tech. I'm also L1 and L3, which is advanced level certifications in both diagnostics and electric cars or hybrid cars. And that is what has afforded me the opportunity to come up here and do the things that I am doing now. And I still do work, which obviously I'm doing today. I got 3 cars I'm working on today. And, you know, that's how we make money here. So I'm self-employed here at the house. I'm also have another job. And then I also have a job in town. So I'm a busy boy between the homestead and all the other cool stuff I do. Sometimes I find the time to do the radio show and these live chats. But today I'm not really supposed to be sitting here talking with you all right now. I've got a lot of work to do. So I am right now. You guys, you know, go ahead and post your questions. This won't take all that much longer. I'm going to go ahead and reinstall this on the other side. I'll be talking, but unfortunately I won't be able to see your comments. So I hope you'll stick around. Once I'm done putting that back together again, we'll tighten up the rest of the wheels, get it on the ground, torque them down, and it's on for the last car. So I don't know what time it is. My stomach's growling, so I'm sure it's after lunch at this point. But as soon as I get done with everything, I'm going to have some lunch. Then I'm going to do some yard work since the sun came back out here temporarily. Then I'm going to take a shower, and then I'm going to see all of y'all back at 6 for the actual live show to celebrate the 500th video. Although, as of today, I think it's now 506 because of all these live feeds. So there you go. Quadra King Jet's asking if I ever do any diesel work. Not if I can help it, but yes, I do know how to do diesel. You'll notice I didn't talk about the L2 certification, which is diesel specialist. I don't like them. I don't like anything about them. I like old diesels, which were pure mechanical diesels like the Volkswagens and the military Humvees and, you know, deuce and a half, 5-ton stuff like that I worked on when I was a younger man. But modern computer controlled, they're garbage. And I know people, you know, get a raging, you know what for them, but they better have deep pockets and they better keep filling them back up because that car's going to keep emptying them back out. Mr. Randy's commenting about getting some, how I'm an impressive man. Well, Mr. Randy, you can be the same way, my friend. All you got to do is put your mind to it, and you can be anything you want to be, and you can be the best at it if you really put your mind to it. And I recommend doing that because life's too short not to be the best. Jamaica Dog saying, I'm getting some Wednesday, shipping you some by the weekend. Really, man? Well, that's awesome. I don't know if you caught the part of the conversation. I'd appreciate that, dude. But yeah, I smoked one of the last ones that I had from your last pack, so the timing was perfect. So I had my wife and I sitting out on the porch enjoying one of those. So that's cool, man. I appreciate that, brother. Patrick W. did the rear drum brakes last. Oh, he did the rear drum brakes last weekend on his 99 F-150. Still like working on old school stuff. No doubt, brother. And drum brakes are, you know, mystifying to a lot of folks, but they're still a part of a lot of cars out there. All right, guys, not trying to ignore anybody, and I appreciate y'all being in here. If you'd be so kind as to hit the thumbs up, I'm sure there were a whole lot of people that hit the thumbs down on videos earlier because of all the problems, but I'm going to go ahead and start putting this side back together again, and we'll get back to chat, man. Thank you for coming by. Oh, wait, I was going to clean this out first. All right, now I'm going to put it back together again. Looks like perfect timing because that old brake clean can, that's the last of that one. Now, Waterjet, you might be the exception here, but most of the guys that I know that have own diesels, they can't wait to get their hands on them. And after those diesel engines beat them up, and I know there's a lot of fanboys out there for Chevy and Ford and Dodge, but after those cars finished beating their wallets up for the 4th or 5th time for new heads or, you know, whatever, I mean, it seems like the list of things that go wrong is about endless. This one didn't seat all the way. My little glove tapper. they're happy to get rid of it. It's kind of like a boat. You know the old saying about a boat? Happiest day of your life when you own a boat is the day you buy it and the day you get rid of it. I think that's pretty much the case there. Most of the guys I know, when it's finally time, when they always have that, man, if I just fix this, it'll be okay, and I'll drive it for another year. Then something else blows up on it. Of course, some of that, and I'm not blaming these cars for being poorly built. Some of that, if not all of that, is caused by guys and gals who, I'm going to do a cat delete. I'm going to do a def delete. I'm going to do this. I'm going to upsize the turbo. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So yeah, I mean, some of it is definitely user error. Anybody that tries to jack up one of those things, put a chip in it or whatnot, man, Chris Build says at first he thought it was a Pontiac. Don't remember what model, but it looks similar. Yeah, the Pontiac Vibe and the Toyota Matrix are similarly sized. So, yeah. Aztec. Yeah, the Pontiac Aztec. Boy, no, this one's not quite that ugly now. Come on now. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let me see if I can make this any clearer here. Oh, geez. Probably going to break it. My mistake for touching it, right? I don't know. Maybe that made it better. Who knows? Yeah, it looks a little clearer to me. Yeah, that Aztec, that was one ugly car, man. Yeah, the Vibe is the one he's thinking of. I think it does look like a Vibe from this angle. When I get it on the ground, you'll see. It's kind of like a miniature SUV, but it's all-wheel drive. I'm kind of partial to Mitsubishis. I know they don't have a good rap here in the United States anymore, but I've worked on all cars a whole lot, and I'll tell you what, I ain't never seen a Mitsubishi that caused me much trouble. Jamaican Dog, a boat is a hole in the water that you can throw your money into. That is exactly correct, my friend. So is a diesel engine if you decide you're going to, man, I'm going to do head studs. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Yeah, you can do all that. And then when you want to roll coal, you're rolling that coal right out of your wallet. All right, so I'm putting goo on these. Help them keep from rusting and seizing into the brackets. All right, now we'll do the same thing with the other side here. All right, and then I'm going to lube up the pins. It's time to put the tires back on this one. This one didn't take too long. I was obviously wasting an awful lot of time. Still managed to knock it out in about an hour. Usually a brake job, pads and rotors and all this stuff taking about 30 minutes if I was hustling. And they usually pay about an hour and a half. You guys can do the math on that. If I was getting paid X amount of dollars, that's a great way to get extra dough. So I always recommend people follow auto mechanics as a career choice or as a backup because, man, it's a really well-kept secret that you can make a ton of money in this industry. But yeah, you don't really need to have skills. You have to have patience to do this job. So if you think you've got patience or you're willing to acquire them, you could really make a ton of money in this. I'm not kidding. A lot of money. All right. Okay, so time to straighten this up. Tires back on. Go. Clean up some of my tools here. There are two types of mechanics. Those that are god-awful mess everywhere they go, and those that are tidy and clean. Both of them make money, but only one of them earns respect. Nobody wants to get in the car after a technician worked on it and find grease, dirty footprints, that kind of stuff. That'll lose a customer. You can do a perfect job, but you'll lose a customer in a heartbeat or something like that. All right. Oh man, my back is done for in this world. I'll tell you what. What happened to my youth? What happened to my youthful appearance? What happened to my youthful body? It seems that all of that has come to pass. Things that were so simple are so hard, man. But it is what it is. Could be worse, right? Could be dead. That's something that my dad tells me all the time. How you feeling, Dad? Oh, man, could be worse. Could be dead. It's really the right attitude to have, too. This air compressor is running off that Cobalt air tank I bought about 2 years ago. Got it on clearance. It was like open box or something like that. And I'm using a Cobalt impact gun. You know, a lot of guys and gals think you got to have Snap-on stuff, Matco stuff, Mac stuff in order to make a living doing this. But dude, that Cobalt air tank, which is probably vibrating that microphone right now, that thing has gotten a ton of use in the last year and a half or whatever it's been. Working awesome. Keep plenty of power, certainly do the kind of work I'm doing around here. This gun is 1,100 foot-pounds of torque. I mean, that thing puts out a whole lot of energy. So again, no problems using something aftermarket. This was I think, well, actually I had the old one. I paid $79 for it. Went to trade it in because I had dropped it and cracked the case. And this was the old style that they don't longer sell. And they didn't have it. So I was able to get this for the same price. It was $79. I just swapped out they had a 5-year or lifetime warranty, something like that. 1,100 foot-pounds. The equivalent of this would be, I don't know, $5.99 from Snap-on, you know. So shop around. AirCat makes some great one, Nitro Cat, and you know, even Harbor Freight has the Earthquake, which is a really good air gun. Mechanics or have no idea what I'm doing, they're just hanging out with me today. This thing right here is not just an extension for the socket. It's called the torque stick. So you're supposed to tighten these lug nuts down to, say, 80. I think this one right here is actually 100. And so these torque sticks come in different colors. The colors indicate how many foot-pounds they're supposed to put out. There's torque limiting. If it goes, this thing's capable of, you know, many thousands of, well, 8,000 pounds of torque. So it's going to take all 900 of it, and it's going to absorb it by twisting this shaft here when I try to tighten it down. So this is not a replacement for using a torque wrench to finalize the tire before you back it out, because you don't want a wheel falling off. But it gets it real close, and it doesn't damage anything by over tightening it. So I always go through it. You see I go through it twice. That's to help seat that thing fully. Then when I get it on the ground, I'm going to use a torque stick or a torque wrench and tighten the rest of it. All right, so let's go ahead and lower this thing back down. You can't see the mechanism, but there's a safety release that you have to push. And you go up a little bit, you're ready to come down, and you'll see it just drop out of the sky. Hopefully, controlled drop out of the sky. And there we go. So that's it. If I had done an oil change, obviously I'd have to do, fill it back up. I'm going to have to order a headlight for it, so I'm going to leave that off parked for right now. Go ahead and close the hood. I'm going to get my torque stick set to 100 foot-pounds. Do one more walk around this thing. Time to back it out. Here's another example of a tool that I've had forever. This is a Craftsman clicker type torque wrench, 1/2 inch. I've used this thing for so many years. And you can see I've had it recalibrated a few times. There's one recalibration sticker. There's another one. Looks like it was last done in 2014. That's probably about the time that Craftsman stopped doing recalibrations. You know, they've certainly, well, Sears as a company has certainly had problems. But I'm going to twist this thing up to 100 foot-pounds. And then after I'm done tightening these down, we'll talk for a while. I'll go ahead, pump the brakes, and back it out. And then I might shut down this feed, and I'll probably come back here in a little while with the next car, and we'll go through it all over again. Let me say it. So that clicking sound, if you're not a mechanic, that's the sound of it hitting 100 foot-pounds. And that's the sound we want to hear. Now, if I want to make a viral video, I would forget to pump these brakes. And I'd go crashing through the garage door or whatnot when I back this out. But since I'm poor and I really don't want to destroy my cool stuff, I'm afraid I'm going to have to pump the brakes. Yeah, let's see if we can say more here, huh? Woo! Oh my gosh, yeah, there's a bunch. I'll tell you what, give me one more sec. I'll tighten these down and come talk, all right? Get those arms back in. I don't want to pump those brakes. Wow. Well, I don't know about you guys. I'm about ready for a break. So let's see what y'all been saying here, huh? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move the camera back over to where it usually sits when we do these shows. If I can. Oh my gosh. Yeah, come on, baby. You can do it. I know you can. There we go. Uh-oh. Look, I'm in Star Trek. Let's see if I can get close enough to see it. See that dude with the beard? Yeah. People don't realize this, but it seems like no one ever wants to really pay attention to the fact that I'm famous. But, yeah, I'm famous. All right, dudes and dudettes, let's see what we got going on here. Wow, there's a lot of stuff. Okay. Jamaica Dog saying, I don't do my own mechanic work because I don't like to walk everywhere. Yeah, hey, man, and nothing wrong with that, brother. You know, a man's got to know his limitations. That was something that I heard Clint Eastwood say in one of his movies, and it's really rung true for all those years because it is so true, dude. Man's got to know his limitations. Joe R saying, get a Jeep and just empty every pocket. Yeah, you know, the inline six, Chris Builds is saying there, the inline six, he's correct. That was a durable, beautiful motor. The original Cherokees and the square body Cherokees that came after it, those were great vehicles. And then AMC was gone, and Chrysler got knee deep into it, and then of course Mercedes got knee deep into it, and now of course Fiat's knee deep into them, and they're horrible. Chrysler Corporation or Fiat Corporation builds some of the worst vehicles sold. I'll probably get sued for saying that, but I can back it up with facts because I've certainly worked on enough cars of all makes and models to know cars to avoid. BMWs, Volkswagens of any modern era, Audis, of course, is also included in that. And any Fiat Chrysler product is going to be something you probably want to avoid, especially if it has an automatic transmission, which is nearly all of them. So just keep that in mind. Sorry if I've hurt anybody's feelings. Those are just my opinions. These, from 30 years of working on cars. Right on. It's Joe saying, I know I have a 2001 Cherokee Sport with 2,000. Yeah, and they're easy to go 300,000 on those if you take care of it. Yeah, Chris chiming in there. Tell him, Volat, what kind of paste do you use for the brake caliper, copper or ceramic? Geez, I don't know. Let me see. Why, that would be ceramic, sir. Be honest with you, though, that bottle I've had for 5 or 6 years and probably have it for another decade. I couldn't tell you what I bought last time. So I don't know that I have a preference on that, if that makes sense to you. Joe R. said he's got a new motor in his at around 200,000 miles. Cylinder's got trash. Did a head gasket and a lot of stuff to fall in. Man, there's nothing worse than doing a huge job and screwing it up to the point where you got to start from scratch, man. That's terrible. But I bet you got a good deal on it. Yep, pretty much run forever. Now, Joe R. saying you got 06 Wrangler last year of the 2-door Unlimited. Is that Wrangler got the 6-cylinder 3.6 or 3.7? Because you're ready to – that one will definitely eat your wallet 4 or 5 times in a row until you just give up. But if it's still got the inline 6 or the old 4-banger, those are good motors. Chris Build says, I'm broke fixing a VW. Oh, wait. Yeah, so that was like right along the worst year models ever for those things, dude. I can't say enough bad things. I love, I'm an air-cooled guy. Is how I got got started in this industry. And my first car was a Volkswagen Rabbit Generation 1, A1 or whatever, MK1. And, of course, I still restore those things anytime I get my hands on one, either air-cooled or water-cooled. But that is where it ends. Some people will say the Mark IIs were still an okay vehicle, and I'll admit they were okay. But by the time the Mark IIIs rolled around, that era, dude, they're just, oh, God. And my sister has, you know how it is. You don't want to listen to advice from people that know things. So she's bought 3 or 4 of those things, and every one of them has eaten her alive. So, yeah, buddy. Chris Bill says, I do have an 87 C10. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Square bodies are awesome, man. I love it. H&X Media, automatic transmission. What is this sorcery you speak of? I consider a manual transmission to be the perfect theft deterrent. Correct. I love manuals, and yet I bought my first and only new car that I will ever own, and I bought it with a CVT because I'm getting old, and I can't believe it. Not that I don't love stick shift for the experience, but I don't know, man. It's crazy. Plus, then the other half of that is it also got better gas mileage than the manual, which is just insane to think of that's the world we're living in now. But so those were the 2 deciding factors. But yes, I feel like I've sullied my good name by buying an automatic. Right on, guys. I tell you what, man. Oh, good. Yours has a 4, so good. Yeah, you're good to go, guys. It has been awesome. This is an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm sure that we could have gotten probably 100 people in here watching this thing at any one given time if it had gone right first thing in the morning. But I've had a great time with it. I've just realized by looking at the computer here, it is 2:30. It's not just past 12. So I'm way behind on the work that I'm supposed to be doing today because I kept messing around with this live feed and trying to get it up and running. But hey, here's some good news. I'm coming back. You'll see me once again right here on Farpoint Farms at 6 o'clock tonight. Cool. So I hope you'll all come back. I won't be doing car repair. I'll be sitting here in my usual location talking with y'all, and I hope you'll join me and we'll have some fun together because this was interesting. I mean, I don't know. I think if it had worked well right off the bat, I would probably start doing this every weekend that I was working in the garage because I enjoy conversation while I'm doing my stuff. But, man, it was so frustrating. I don't know that I'll try this again. I'm just glad I got it working. And, the good news is it took 3 hours to get it right. But, dude, that would have been the 3 hours while we were trying to have our live show tonight. So at least I've got it set up, and all I'm going to do is turn this thing off and then turn it back on again about 5:30 and make sure that it fires back up. So let's hope for the best, right? Right on. Calcius, take care. Fred, take care. Man, Lazy Hodges, good to see you in there, buddy. Toyota Prius is good. Yeah, Prius is a great vehicle. I love my Priuses. When they first came out, they were like people, talking smack about them. Again, drive one, man. They're like a Corolla, but better. They got more space than a Corolla. The hatchback is obviously versatile and excellent gas mileage. You can't lose, dude. So, oh, wow. Barn find. Awesome, man.
All right, guys. So I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining this live feed. Please spread the word about this. Socks and a bow tie. Yikes. I think people might run away in fear. Their eyes might burst into flames, but that's an interesting idea. I'll take it into consideration, my friend. But I'll see y'all tonight. Take care.